Our speaker is a seasoned leader with over 20 years of experience. Remember what I said earlier? Somebody says waiting for him to add. All the people waiting for our second speaker. What's going on? Anyways, please remember to appreciate him as I read some aspects of his profile, because I'm not going to take everything. If not, we'll not leave here today. Exactly. So just appreciate him as I say some of the things, right? Okay, he's a seasoned leader with over 20 years of experience in governance, management, consulting, and international development. Okay. He has a proven track record of driving transformative initiatives across public, private, and social sectors. Quite a few people can do that. Quite a few people can assert influence in public, private, and even social sectors. So we have an amazing speaker in here today. All right, expertise in digital transformation, economic diversification, and strategic planning. Violet is my amiable general coordinator while in school. I love that. Okay, several experiences when it comes to a lot of different things. He has been a managing director, Sub-Saharan Africa, in ACE Analytics, and up until present, yes, lead transformative initiatives for public, private, and social sectors, regional director for Tony Blair Institute for African Change, that was previously. He has also supported governments in enhancing public service, leadership, significantly improved citizen satisfaction and economic resilience in the region. Malawi country director, Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Are we guys even clapping at all? Built strong relationships with the Malawian government and led a multinational team to drive national transformation. We're talking about somebody who walks the talk. Is it talks the walk or walks the talk? Yeah, walks the talk. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Coordinated the installation of Starlink internet terminals. Wow, dramatically improving digital access to rural areas. Brilliant. He has designed a pretty operational framework for the Edo State Transformation Office and a host of others. He has fostered a culture of innovation and efficiency, developed strategic frameworks for several things, senior special assistant to the president of Nigeria. That was previously as well. And in terms of education and certifications, a whole lot. I can't. Well, name them. Postgraduate certificates in whatever you can think about, strategic risk management, leadership, and of course, a bachelor in electrical and electronics engineering, an executive MBA with Quantic School of Business, which is quite a very good school. I know about Quantic. Balanced scorecard certification, board member, and in so many board member of so many organizations. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have this amazing resource person in our midst today, talking about driven by value, putting in the required work as parents and family members and agents of change in the world and society that we live in. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully I did not murder the surname. Let's welcome with a rousing applause, Mr. Daniel, or Engineer Daniel, if I may say, Ikuenobe. Just forgive me in advance.
No, thank you.
Welcome,
thank you so
sir.
much, IJ.
Welcome.
Thank you, Usi. Thank you so much.
Daniel,
Thank you,
please let me
Madam
say
Bridget.
that I just had to take a lot of lessons to be able to pronounce this name. So probably she deserves an award after this meeting.
She did very well. She did very well. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Amazing time. I sat through the previous session. Amazing speaker. I was taking notes seriously, and I thought, okay, maybe we should leave at this point. We have enough. So, but thank you. I mean, we've been talking about this session for at least almost 6 months now, and it has been, I mean, Usi just continues to say, okay, do you remember, and and all of that, and it has been a great time. So I mean, it's a topic that is dear to my heart, and I wouldn't speak as an expert per se. I'll speak as one who is also on the journey of life. None of us, I mean, all of us who get into the business of parenting, very few of us were trained in the art of parenting. In fact, even if you're trained, every child presents a new challenge, and you have to start taking notes afresh. And as you walk, you're trying to sort out yourself. then you have the responsibility of leading and managing all these great souls that God has blessed you with, and we are stewards for only a few years, to be honest. And I know when we had a meeting with the kids, and I told them, I said, my first son is 12, and I say, you have maybe only about 4 to 6 years remaining to stay with us. And he goes, I mean, for my younger daughter started crying as I was saying. I say, it's true. Because the moment you get into university, I mean, how often do you get to see the kids and all of that? So it's early years, those early years, it's the time. And so yeah, you have to deal with all of that in your many travels and find a way to manage that. So let me just begin onto my session. One of my mentors, he likes to say that as goes the family, so goes the nation. And people fail to realize that the unit of how communities are built is the family unit. And so if the individuals are not okay, marriages are not okay, families are not okay, nations can't be okay. If we have to solve Nigeria's problem, we have to go back to the family unit and see how we can find ways to make that work. And the challenge is some of the institutions that helped us traditionally to build that are currently dysfunctional. And I'm talking about schools, I'm talking about churches, and I'm talking about governments. And so we have this context that makes it very challenging. And all of this is feeding into the media. And so we are in a very difficult situation where, those who should be influencing are now being influenced. And you have a chicken and egg situation where you say, how do you now solve the problem? Because church has been infiltrated, schools have been infiltrated, government have been infiltrated with negative values. And so you even have the challenge of, say, what are the right values and how do you understand them, appreciate them, and then communicate them? So the strength of families is critical for the well-being and future of society. Just to give an example, countries like China have recognized the link between family education and how that impacts on the entire nation. They have something called the Family Education Promotion Law, which holds families responsible for their children's moral and emotional growth in addition to academics. And so you find the likes of, just give you an example, I'm sure across the world you can find examples like this. East China Normal University, offers courses to help parents to better educate their children's character and emotional health. So these are things that even nations are beginning to see interesting. Currently, my wife has some assignment with the World Bank, which is on building the parenting manual and begin to help to do the same thing. So and you find that there, and because the Nigeria as a country is beginning to say, look, we need to build a parenting manual because we are seeing that. And we need champions who can begin to help to put all of these things together. So there is need for us to have intentional parenting because many times we are reactive, but we have to say, look, can we decide and say, what do we want to do? What do we want to see? How do we go about that? And parenting must be deliberate. Shaping children's values and character positively impact society. Now, truth is, we must think in terms of seeds and weeds. When we do nothing, weeds grow. But seeding must be intentional. So without intentional action, negative influences like weeds will grow. Parents must actively sow positive values and behaviors to ensure the right growth, right? So let me begin by saying, what is the principle of this seed and weeds like I'm speaking to? My wife likes to say that, so my wife is the expert, so don't worry, I'll quote my wife a lot. My wife likes to say that family is like a farm. You have to be intentional about sowing the right seeds and continuously weeding. Okay? So it talks about intensity versus reactivity. If parents are passive, negative behaviors will naturally develop. So we cannot afford to be passive. There's a program that I've been part of called the Quest for Authentic Manhood. If you do this, if you have this session once a month, you take it 3.5 years to finish. And part of the definition of what they call authentic manhood, and again, families begin with the men, and I can speak from the men's perspective, is that they said that reject passivity responsibility, accept responsibility, and then invest eternally. So there is a place of thinking eternal, and then also knowing that passivity is not desired when managing a relationship with parenting, family, or children. So sowing the right seeds, be deliberate in planting positive values through words, actions, and home environment. And I'll get to that. With regards to words, on my 40th, a few years back, the Lord was telling me, he said, pay attention to words and spirit. He said, everything that will lead to transformation, I transform by my spirit, but the vehicle through which this spirit is communicated is words. So think about it. Every nation is built by words. Every organization is built by words. Families built by words. Lives built by words. But what's important of words is that words communicate spirit. Imagine just I said, the words I speak, there is a spiritual substance that imparts life. Right? So in a sense, you have to ensure that the words are weaponized. You have weaponized words to then transmit the spirit into those environments. And I give an example. Fear is a spirit. Anger is a spirit. Doubt is a spirit. But what causes that is words, either words you are hearing from outside or words you are hearing from inside. At the foundation of those emotions that you feel, there are words. Sometimes we fail to call those words out, but words is what starts all of this, right? So it's important that we are very intentional about the words that we speak, because the words are either building or destroying. And so being intentional about words. Then your actions, we need to work hard to ensure that the actions are aligned with the words. So it's again, heart, words, actions. Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You cannot, see, you can't control your tongue. You can only control what goes into your heart. And what we need to do from time to time as parents is to do words audit. Let me do an evaluation of the things I said in the last 1 week, in the last 1 day, in the last 1 year. And that can tell you the character of your spirit. And so you can know whether you're rightly seated or wrongly seated. We are all children of influence. It's not about, not only children go through peer pressure, we as adults experience peer pressure. And we need to ensure that we know that we are children of influence, but we can choose our influences. We can choose our influences. It's very easy for us, particularly church folks, to be very critical. I've stopped being critical because, I have seen the best and the worst even within my own heart. And so I realized that when Jesus Christ says that remove the log that is in your own eyes so that you can see clearly to remove the speck in somebody else's eye, that means that the posture we should have is that our eyes is logged and the other person's eye is specked. And when we are consciously looking at the logs in our own eyes and taking them out, then we are also being compassionate, being merciful with others when we are dealing with them. Because the truth is, we are all work in progress. And as we give ourselves to the Lord to deal with us, out of that dealing, things are being taken out. And from that abundance, we are able to speak rightly to our children, to those around us, and all of that. So right action, right words, and then also creating the right environment. I talk about influences. Let us not be deceived. We can create the environment matters. We must constantly be looking at the environment to see how those things influence behavior, all right? For first 10 years of our marriage, we had no TV. It was very intentional because we didn't want a situation where, somebody comes in and puts on things and then you don't know what people are watching, you don't know where they're being. So of course, then things you can't control 100%, but at least you can do your best to say, where this is a strange action, this is a strange whatever, where is it coming from? And you want to also look at the environment to find where those things are coming from. All right. So growth requires effort. Just like tending the garden, children need consistent care, guidance, love, and discipline for healthy development. There is need to cherish and to nurture. They are the two manifestations of love, cherishing and nurturing. Cherishing is quite, sentimental, but nurturing is intentional actions. All right. So this is very important. Okay. So Psalm 127 talks talks a great deal about children are the heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. It says, like arrows in the hand of a mighty warrior, so are these children in a hand to engage the enemies at the gate. The truth is, our children represent they are our message to a generation or a time we will not be part of. And so if we are thinking, what message are they carrying to the next generation? So we have to ensure that they have that. And so it talks about the arm of a mighty warrior. All right? The arm of a mighty, so the strength of the parents here, it speaks to the strength of the parents. So part of parenting is being able for parents to build their own reserves, build their own strength, build their own capacity, because only then can you stretch the arrow properly, build their own wisdom. Only then can you see correctly. I love the way Madam Bridget talked about prophetic, being able to know where are they supposed to go. Say, train the child in the way that he should go, that you have an idea of where they are going, so you can point them, stretch, and then you can release. Then they can engage the enemies at the gate confidently. They can engage the enemies with a sense of standing. And then when contrary views are coming, they know exactly how to engage. They know how to respond. They know how to deal. And it's important that we train this thing properly, because you see, if children are conditioned only because they're saying, this is what daddy wants and what mommy wants, and they don't share those convictions, by the time the environment changes, they're off. So you need to ensure that it is deeply entrenched. And how you get there is that we have to be comfortable with the darkness. Now, let me explain what I mean. Is that in order for you to come to your light, you have to walk through your darkness. But we are too afraid to confront our darkness because we don't as parents. And then when we also see children manifest things, we are too reactive, and then they hide. And when they hide, you don't even see, you're not able to now deal with the root causes and the things that are really inside. And I give an example. One of my kids did something, and he has books. Younger sister asked for books, and then he to punish her, he said, "I'm not giving you the books." And so she comes crying. I'm like, "Look, you've read the book. Why are you doing that?" And I said, "Do you want me to go and buy her own?" And he says, "Yes." I said, "Did you really say that?" Then he goes, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, now you're changing your perspective because you fear the consequence." And I said, "No, what I want you to do is say what you mean and what you really mean, but not necessarily because that's what the environment forces you to say. Because if the conditions are right, the person who is inside is the one that will manifest. So be more interested in the who is inside than the who that is outside, so that they feel comfortable to come in even with even the things that may be disapproving to you, because only when you see can you respond and can you instruct. So having said that, so again, being parents, we must weaponize our children positively, equipping them with the right values and engaging to challenge them for the future. So thinking future forward. Our children carry a message to the next generation, like I said, extending the values and principles we sow in them today. So next, creating the right environment for growth. Environment matters. Values like respect, empathy, responsibility thrive in supportive, structured environment. The truth is, the fear of the Lord is taught. It is taught. It is not, doesn't come naturally. The natural bent of the human nature is depraved. In order to elevate that personality, it needs careful, deliberate, consistent instruction. And we as parents can't give what we don't have. We have to give ourselves to tutelage. We have to give ourselves to apprenticeship. We have to give ourselves to mentoring, that in seeing others and the good in others, we can also replicate that within our own context. So environment matters, right? Nurturing values. Parents must provide the right conditions, encouragement. So this is how we water the seeds. There must be encouragement. And one of the things my kids now, of course, they're very So sometimes when they get to school, they are fearful. And look, I say, look, in order for you to be a success, you need to be comfortable with failure. And so I share with them that, you need to be you need to be comfortable with failure and never be embarrassed by it. Because, and I give example of mathematics, that the one who is seen to be outstanding is the one who has failed multiple times privately. Because when you solve problem in maths, you are continually failing, but you are failing forward. And you do that continuously privately, so that by the time you're showing forth, comes forth, you are well proven, and the guy does very well. We have to pray to God that all our failings are private, that our kids are in safe environments where they can fail privately before their parents, and parents can then nurture them, and then all of that. So I say, look, first of all, we have to ensure that there is a safe environment for them to fail in front of the parent, because if the parents are the most critical, then they go into hiding. Then what then happens is that you as a parent, the full manifestation happens in the glare of everybody. So you are witnessing, as with everybody else in public space, what has gone wrong, right? So it's important that you are able to see that and be okay. So how do you now nurture them out of their own travails? So to show up and never give up. Every time you must engage, and encourage them to engage their weaknesses, engage their fears, engage their insecurities, and be honest. Look, I look at this person, I'm envious. Okay, you are envious. Interesting. Why are you envious? Say then, and they talk freely. Okay, this is going on. Okay, then you sit down. Only then can you begin to instruct. You say, I have a crush on this person. Then you laugh, okay, oh, interesting. What's the person's name? Why do you have a crush on this person? And then you can now speak to it and give, everybody gets crushed. Let us not lie to ourselves. How do you manage a crush? How do you manage the emotions? It's important that that they feel safe to say, they feel safe to express, they feel safe to fail, they feel safe to fall, knowing that that is always here. And I would say this, there is something about we had a very difficult season in 2022. Between my wife and I, we lost 3 of our 4 parents, and it was a very difficult season. 2 died within 3 weeks of each other. We did a funeral within a month of each other. And as a man, you come in and you have to manage all of that, and then you go in and began to struggle with the concept of home. Now we traveled a lot. Before we left the country, we had done about probably in our 15 years of marriage, we probably have moved houses up to 14 times. And so in the midst of all this movement, I remember when my mom passed, I was like, okay, so I want to go home. So where is home? Mom is not there. She came back home to Nigeria. I'm like, is Nigeria home? So where is home? Where I was at the time in Malawi it didn't feel like, where is this place? So, and it dawned on me that parents have 3, and when I was grieving, just going through all of that, there are three, should I say, 3 relevance of parenting. One, there's the value. One, there's the functional value that parents have. You provide, you guide, you lead, you make decisions at the time. But as you get older, that functional value diminishes. And based on your relationship with the child, the element around counsel or advice will also diminish, right? So functional value goes down. But 2 other elements, are present. One is the sentimental value. The sentimental value is, oh, daddy, that our mommy, I've been with you, spend time, is always there, and all of that, and we take that for granted. But there's that heart connection. Again, that heart connection is either a source of pain if the relationship is a sour relationship, or a source of pleasure, right? And just bear in mind that when you lose a parent, the parent is and until one loses a parent, you can't get what I'm saying now. There is that present individual that has been there all of your conscious life. And that once that person leaves, it leaves you feeling exposed, it leaves you feeling vulnerable, it leaves you feeling alone in ways that cannot. So there is And so you, as a parent, you have to bear this in mind when dealing with your kids, that you are going to be a present consciousness all of their lives, both when you are alive and when you are gone. The last is the symbolic. The symbolic is, I have my father who art in heaven, my mother who art in wherever. But there's that symbolic, feel and all of that. But I mean, I'll move on from there. Okay, so it's important that we bear this in mind. So parents wrestle with their own insecurities, and that's what I'm coming to. Fears, doubts, while trying to raise their own children. So being self-aware is important as a parent, because sometimes we project our own insecurities to our children. We project our own fears to our children. We need to protect them from our worst, in quotes, devils, so that you are able to raise the most wholesome and complete individual, right? So before we can help our children grow, we must be aware of our internal struggles and work to overcome them ourselves, and know that we are a work in progress, right? And all of that. So the third element I'll put, I think I have about 10 more minutes that I'll put, is that heart design is important. Instructing the heart. Genesis 18, 16 to 18 tells us, and God was saying that, can I hide this with my servant Abraham, seeing that he fears me, and that he will instruct his household after himself to keep the way of the Lord, to do what is right and just. So that he was going to instruct the household after himself was the basis for the release of divine secrets. God is looking for families to unlock and release secrets too. But your commitment to values and your work towards that is what convinces heaven to unlock secrets and treasures to you. Families hold secrets. And you see God saying, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, is always transgenerational. But in order for you to receive those secrets and have them within your family, there has to be a hard commitment. And I'm not talking about you failing. You could fail, but that there's a hard commitment that he will instruct his household. God had seen that commitment, and on the basis of that, he then said, I can't do this in the world without letting him know what I'm about to do. And if you read that whole thing, it was in the context of what God was about to do in the general scheme of things. Parents like Abraham are called to instruct their children's hearts and not just focus on external behaviors. Internal environment compass. The goal of parenting should be to shape a child's heart to love what is right and to make wise decisions on their own. So how does this happen? Beholding and transforming. That we need to know that we behold in the spirit. And as we are beholding, what you are looking to, the influences that you are subject to, the books you read, the things you watch, the voices you hear, right? That as you are spending time in that, something is being formed. You are becoming. The Bible says that we with unveiled faces, 2 Corinthians 3:18, behold as in the mirror the glory of the Lord, and we're being transformed from one level of glory to another. There are stages of glory and stages of transformation, but that is preceded by visuals. And so there is proximity and there's observation. So I call it Mojo and LL. Moses, Joshua, and Elijah. There must be proximity or observation. If you see me taking up, it is yours. So it's important that we put a proper visual in front of our kids. Parents as the first, and then other icons with standards around them. It takes a village to raise a child. Having the right people in our environment, extremely important, with open faces. So growth is a process. First comes awareness, then mastery, and finally our ability to represent. These are important. Now, fourth, it's important for us, the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, that they that read may run with it. But it is useful early to have what we call a family charter. Our family has a writing one and we keep evolving it, but that family charter kind of like says, this is who we are. So even our names have meanings. So my own name is Oseaga Daniel Ikuenobe. So Oseaga, and the whole family carries that Oseaga name internally, means in the service of God. Daniel means God is my judge. He lifts up one and brings down another, right? And so I rise and fall before him, but he's the one that I'm here to serve. Ikuenobe means I cannot be overcome by anything evil. So in a sense, when we are dealing with the children, we talk to them in that sense. You are Oseaga, you are an Ikuenobe. You cannot be overcome by evil. And you are here because you are in the service of God. Everything you do must be focused on that. Do we fail? Yes. Have you made errors? Yes. Thank God for the blood of Jesus. But you have to understand that God knew that you were human before he called you. And you need to understand that as you are going, and that what the Lord ultimately says is that in the end, you will be perfect. He walk before me and be perfect. He didn't say, come to me because you are perfect. He said, your process of perfection is walking before me. The day you stop walking before me, your perfection ceases. As long as you continue to walk before me, your perfection is guaranteed. All right? So it's important that we have that. So practical steps: define the family's mission and values in a charter that guides decision and daily interaction. It's important that you have those things that guide you and contextualize it within yourself. Creating the right social construct and community. It takes a village. Surround children with a support community, including extended family, mentors, and social groups. We are very intentional about the human beings within our space. We are constantly auditing our space. Constantly auditing our space, because many times we will not be there. But Uncle this will teach this. This person is going to teach that. You want to be sure that all of the because there are things that I know that I'm not, I mean, the kids do all kinds of, they go and do outdoors. I'm not a great outdoor person, but I have friends who are comfortable in the outdoors. And then they went once kayaking. And when they went kayaking, the kid said to me, Daddy, thank you, you didn't come, because I would have been so scared and giving all the safety tips. But these kids were in the center of the ocean, kayaking. I'm like, they sent me video. I said, my father, Jesus. But it's important that they overcome. I don't have that, I have those fears, but they don't. So it's important that kids have the right, right environment. But that's that. A strong community reinforces the values you teach at home. Contentment, being present and being centered as a family is important. Now, what does it mean to be content? Is that you are okay with who God has made you, with what God has given you, and where God has placed you. And it's important at every point that parents teach their children, and children are able to be content. Whether you are based, you are bound, you are there, you are comfortable with the rich, you're comfortable with the poor, you're comfortable with the mighty, you're comfortable with the normal. I mean, you are you. You are content. Whether you wear clothes when be like this or you wear the one be like that, you are okay. You are fine. It's important that we're not defined by things or not defined by the what's, but that you are okay. And that will help for centeredness. For centeredness. I remember many years ago, one of our adopted daughter, the one that stays with us, we went to school to pick the other one. All of us were together, and so I was at the time driving the Primera, 1999 Primera, and I parked in front of another very big guy who was driving an Escalade. So I was telling her, I said, okay, between those two, which cars are better? She said, uncle, now that they know they compare. I said, no, but seriously. She said, I said, but you saw us talking. I said, so did you think that he saw me, the guy looked down on me or saw me any less? She said, no. I said, no, because listen, that the Bible says that a man is not defined by the thing that he possesses. Okay? It's important that we teach our children that it is not the thing that a man possesses that defines him. All right? And that they understand that they can stand before anybody regardless of their pocket, regardless of what they have, regardless of where they are. All right? So those are important things to bear in mind. So contentment, being present in time, being present in person, being present in place. What does that mean? Many times we are with people, but we're looking to the other person that you want to connect with. It's important that we teach the art of being present. If you're with your kids, you are there. If you're with your spouse, you are there. If you're with a friend, you are there. If you are in today, there is tomorrow, we know, but live tomorrow. Yesterday was whatever painful, we live yesterday, but you are there, be present. Right now, you are in Abuja, or you are anywhere else. Be there, be present. And teaching the kids that's the way you learn to express life and all of that. So being present, and then being centered in God, being centered in yourself, and being centered in the relationships that God has blessed you with. Very important. So the family has to be centered, and that will help the kids to be centered. What we behold is what we become. The power of influence is what children focus on, around them, will shape who they become. Setting the vision, provide a vision, an example for the children to follow, both through our actions and the people we allow into our lives. Transformation through beholding. I already mentioned that as children behold positive values and examples, they are transformed into those values, like beholding the glory of the Lord. I mentioned that already. Every family has a mission and a call. I've talked about that. Unique family purpose. We need to find that together, individual. You as an individual, and then as a spouse, and then it's your spouse, and then with the kids. Each family has its own mission and calling in the world. Cultivate the mission. Parents should be committed to nurturing their family's mission through daily intentional effort and value-driven action. Now, in conclusion, parents must sow the right seeds by being intentional, consistent, and value-driven. This is the required work to raise children who will contribute positively to society, engage in future challenges as arrows in the hands of a warrior, equipped to push the boundaries of heaven's character into the next generation. So I'm just saying that we are all work in progress, but we can achieve this not by default, but by design. But we must give ourselves humbly to the process, be in the right environment, and set vision. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Wow. Super. Thank you so much for giving the time. My alarm just went off just now, a few seconds ago. So this is great. I love that. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. Let me see the claps. Let me see the response in the chat. So many nuggets. I love all the personal examples. But for starters, where's Mr. Daniel? Okay. Can't see him again on my screen. Okay. I like to see faces. Okay. Wow. I love that you said, when I heard 10 years of marriage, no TV. Let me just even put that one on the side. For me, I have questions there already, but that was super interesting. I'm seeing all the claps. So please, if your mic is on, please, can you mute your mic wherever you are? All right. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you for the thank yous. Tell me what you got from that particular session. So many nuggets. I love that he talked about the right space. I don't want to be giving us expo because my whole note is full. So what is your own? Where is your own? Vega says parenting is intentional. Okay, I'm looking out to read some of your highlights. I'm looking out while I'm still saying mine. I love that he talked about auditing your space. Very important. Having the family chatter. The expo I'm giving is now a lot. Who is sending in the chat? Who is sharing with me and us what you picked?
Just
yes, please hold on, please. Sorry, I'm coming. I just wanted to read one thing here. Okay. Ziba says, thank you for even making me know I am doing some things right. Brilliant. I love that. Thank you. That is just so good. Over to you, UC. You wanted to say something, please.
Oh, I know. I was saying that one of the things that also struck when you were talking about the no TV for 10 years, did you also hear about transitioning in different locations for 14 times out of 15 years of marriage?
My goodness. I'm like, what? How do you do that with children?
I thought we should also hold there. Because I know what it means as a family to move even once out of 20 years of marriage. So it's something we need to draw out from him, please. And
let me quickly say. My son said something.
Hannah, is your wife on the call?
Oh, is she?
No, she's in a meeting downstairs, but If you want to get the expo for that one, it's my wife you will call. She's the master at moving.
That's why I requested.
She can do a master. She can do a master. In fact, she can do a master class on that one. She's great at it.
All right.
Honestly, we need
it. Free. Yes,
we need
we need
expo. We need expo on that one, please. Yusi, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention as well. Honestly, my son said something to me at the beginning of term 2 days ago. He's in year 10. He's 15. And he said, Mommy, thank you very much for the first time in recent times. This is my 3rd year in a particular school. You know what I mean? It's like in a particular school. So that tells you that he has been moving, he's been changing schools, and it's been impacting him in some ways. All right, even though we've been paying attention. But I'm just in my mind now imagining moving 14 times, how that can impact the family setup and things like that. So thank you for that. And we're looking forward to hearing more on that. I've already seen some 1 or 2 questions. But yes, if you have questions and you really want to ask for us, maybe you want us to see your face or hear your voice, just put up your hand. I'm going to be bringing back our panelists or our speakers for the day.